evening, everybody. This is a meeting of the Finance Committee. It's Wednesday, December 8, 2021. Do I have a motion to open the meeting?
Motion.
Is there a second? Okay, we are open. Good evening, folks. We're going to start off by saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, originally tonight's meeting was going to be a joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen due to a clerical issue with the meeting not being posted on time. They could not meet with us. Otherwise, it would be a violation of open meeting law. So they're not going to be here tonight, but we are going to meet with them our first meeting in January when we start our budget season. They're going to come to the first meeting so we can discuss, what our thoughts are on how we want to run the budget season this year. So basically, we want to develop some good budgetary guidelines, and one thing that I want to make sure is that each department has their request forms. I don't know if they've been sent out yet by Julie, so that's something that we're going to find out either this week or next week. I don't want to assume anything, but I believe those request forms should have already been sent out so the departments can be working on their budgets for fiscal year 23. So that's something that's going to be pretty important because we're going to set up hearings with them probably sooner than later because we're going to need enough time to probably deliberate and then maybe bring people back in case we have questions, which I'm sure we're going to have questions. So those were things that we were going to talk about tonight with the board, trying to get a sense of what direction that they want to go in as far as budgets go. I'm going to give my opinion on that and what I think I would like to see this year from the departments. And I think this is something that Sue's talked to about over the years as well, as far as like seeing maybe two different budgets. So what I was thinking was I would like to see a budget that reflects contractual increases because we have to deal with those. Those are a given. Those are going to be in the budget. So let's say we have the library's budget in front of us. We have their budget with all their contractual increases, and then the bottom line of what that budget is. And then beside that, have another line with the contractual increases and whatever additional increases there may be in other line items in their budget. And then have an explanation as to why it's increased. Does that make sense for you folks?
Yeah,
I mean,
that would be helpful.
I think that would make things a lot easier.
Because last year, I don't recall, we got a lot of explanation of some of the budgets.
Yeah, I mean, and
People
then,
don't show up or whatever.
and then the other thing is, if you have a department that is pretty simple and they almost level fund all the time, then they don't have to do that. And I'm going to explain that in a letter that I'm going to send to the departments, saying that if you have a budget and you're pretty sure it's going to be almost level funded as it was last year, then you don't need to show us the difference. But there's going to be some budgets that will need to do that. And the bigger ones being, the school, police department, EMS, fire, etc. Those budgets will have increases in them, and I think it'll make our job a lot easier. And I don't think it's a big ask for them to do that. I mean, what are your thoughts?
any business would require the same thing. If you went to a bank looking for a loan, they're gonna want to ask what you're putting it towards.
But typically what we get is we'll get their budget, and we just, we get the increases. It's all one big thing, and sometimes we don't get a complete. There should be an explanation with everything. If you have a line item that's level funded, fine, you don't have to talk to it. But anything that's increased, give us an explanation, but show us the difference of what each budget would look like. So we have a comparison. And I think we need to go in that direction now and going forward.
I think that will help level set everything, right? Because what
Yes.
happened last year is we had the ask, and then we had some that followed our ask and gave us, their bare bones minimum. And then we had others that still gave, more than the bare bones minimum, and then we ended up being handcuffed, right? Like, all of a sudden we got money, okay, now it's gonna go that way. Where we had all these other departments that followed as we asked, and we don't know where else they would have spent some money, how do we know that the cash was spent in the most efficient and best use of the money, right? Because we didn't get all of that information. I think that will help us.
Yeah.
At least level set, and we go from there. Now we've got all of the asks from all of the departments, and we can help figure out what's fair and reasonable.
Yes, I think that's more fair and balanced to do it that way. It's not like we're going to come out and say, all right, we want you all level funded right off the bat. We're not asking for that. We're not going to do that. But we want to see responsible budgets for sure. But I think seeing a comparison, just like I said, the contractual increases. We know there'll be some fixed cost as well in all their budgets that are probably going to increase, specifically probably energy. I would expect to see an increase in those line items more than likely because of the current state that we're in.
Figure 25%.
It's yeah.
That's what Eversource is asking for, so.
Yeah,
I would think that if we're gonna do this, which is, I agree, it's a good idea, maybe the departments that are easier, maybe we should, because we wanna move our budget hearings, we wanna start sooner rather than later, put those at the beginning.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
give the department heads with the more difficult budgets more time to work out that details, and we'll take those towards the end of the budget season.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that a little bit further down the line here. When we set our first date to meet, we're gonna get into that. Anybody else want to add to that thought process as far as requesting budgets from the departments? I mean, the other thing.
I think it makes sense.
Right. I mean, I'd rather do that than say, look, we want to see, a budget that reflects a 1% increase or 2. I just think it makes more sense doing it the other way. Just show us the increase in the contractual line items, and then a separate column with that, and then everything else that's going to increase, or that they're asking for.
In that other line, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
In that other line, are you saying like articles that they may request as well?
No, I would keep the articles separate.
But we're saying the explanation is part of the information they give with the budget, because that would be helpful.
They don't do
too.
that now?
You get it during the meeting.
Oh,
And so
when it's up.
sometimes, yeah.
I think having the explanation ahead of time
is helpful.
is going to be helpful, because then if we have questions when they come in, we can address it right then and there.
Yeah.
So we're not going back and forth and like, all right, we're going to call this person and have them come in. Let's have a nice, structured,
Yes.
regimented schedule where we can get this done timely and efficiently. I mean, that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
So I'm going to convey that message to the departments and also to the Board of Selectmen. So I'm going to get that out to them as well.
That makes their job easier too. If everything's already detailed in it, they can see whether or not something's.
I think it will. I mean, I hope
I'm
so.
surprised they don't do that now already. I mean, it makes sense. You put in like a note section and say, okay, I'm asking for $5,000 for a round of
Well,
computer.
well, and like Sue said, we'll usually get the explanation later on.
Right, but
But this helps us, because let's say we're home and we're going over stuff, and we could be looking at their budget and be like, all right, well, that's why that's there. But I might ask another question relative to that.
It gives us more time to really process the information.
Yeah.
That's part of it, right? When
And
you're
that's-
meeting with 3 or 4 departments, they might already be moving on, and sometimes I'm not able to process that information, as quickly. So I think it's just going to be helpful.
Right.
I
It
love
also
that.
allows us to look at what's fair and equitable. I mean, if we've got and I'm just using, say we have a $100,000 budget and everybody puts in and there's $300,000 worth of asks, well, now you gotta see where the priorities lie.
Yes, exactly.
Where if you don't know where the details are, well, the school importance is important, or the police are important, but you don't know
Yeah.
what ask is, prioritized.
The other thing where I was going to discuss after, I think we're pretty much set on this, is the current personnel issues going on in town. So as we're all aware, Julie's going to be leaving as the town administrator at the end of December. As of right now, we do not have anybody that's going to be filling that role. The job has been posted on the town website for an interim town administrator as well as a full-time town administrator. Now, the interim town administrator will also be full-time until we could replace with a full-time person who wants to be here. I like using that word, wants to be here, because that's what we really need, is somebody who wants to be here and has a vested interest in this town. Not somebody that's going to come on from the outside and then be here for a couple of years and then leave. And then we're right back to square one again in 3 years. I'd like to see candidates come in from a local pool. Hopefully we get some. They just posted it, so hopefully over the next several weeks we'll get some applications that come in.
It always was a town, somebody from the town.
Right,
They changed
up
that
until
logo,
Alan.
man.
Yeah, up until, when we had,
Yeah.
when we had Alan Catino here and Kathy Dome side by side, there was a level of continuity there that was really good. And it actually made it a lot easier for the finance committee to do what we needed to do. Things ran pretty smoothly. And I think we probably got a little spoiled by that. And not to say that I think Julie is very organized, and I think she's given us great detail, and I think she's done a good job.
I think she's doing 2 jobs at once.
Yeah, no, so, I mean, she had a lot thrown at her. So in her defense, she had a ton thrown at her. And that being said, I think she's done a great job. And the information she would give us was definitely pretty detailed compared to what we've had in the past. So that was the difference there. Everybody has their strengths, and but I think we need somebody that has a vested interest in our town, going forward. So what's going to happen in the event that we don't have somebody at the beginning of the year, which is how it's looking right now, is the Board of Selectmen are going to divide up basically the town administrator's roles. And they're each going to take certain parts of, what the town administrator would deal with. So one individual will deal with finance and maybe the DPW. Another individual is going to deal with police, fire, EMS, and maybe Conservation Commission. And then the other individual will deal with library, assessors, Board of Health, all the other issues. So they're gonna divide up the duties basically, and try and hold down the fort until we get somebody in, either as the interim or full time.
Town never had a
What
town
was that?
administrator before.
What was that?
Town never had a town administrator before.
Prior to
Prior to Alan.
prior to Alan.
Oh, really? Right.
Right. There are some towns.
Excuse me?
I don't think any towns around here had town administrators, like maybe now they do, but I don't think 20 years ago they did.
No, back then, and there are still some towns now that don't. I mean, not all the towns in the Commonwealth go with a town administrator. The duties are delegated to the Board of Selectmen, and that's how it works.
Board of Selectmen has the final say.
Yeah, they have the most powerful
Yeah.
position in town. So that's all. I just wanted to touch base on that, because I'm sure there's a lot of concerns out there as far as who's gonna take on that role. So that's how it's gonna play out for now, and that's what I've been told. And I've in conversation, because I wanted to know before we met tonight, so I could give you folks some information on it in case you have questions about that. I'm sure there's curiosity. as far as what's gonna happen, so. The next thing I wanted to discuss tonight was assigning Finance Committee liaison roles, which we've done in the past. I'm currently serving as the school committee liaison, which is that's probably the most involved. But I've done it before. Actually, Bob and I used to do it together. We did it together for a couple of years because it was pretty involved. So, Eric, would you have like maybe you've done the DPW before?
That's what I've been, but
That's what you've been doing, right?
yeah, but
So
to
do
be
you want-
honest with you, I've not really, I mean, a couple of times when there was a board, I approached them and I've never really gotten any calls or a request to attend any meetings or anything. I mean, if somebody wants to go to the DPW, that's fine. I'll stay with it. I don't care. I could do EMS. I came from EMS, so whatever everyone wants.
Well, I think having a liaison for Old Colony, we've always had one. I know Sue's done it in the past. That might be an issue for you now. And I might even like to have you with me on the school as a liaison, as a dual role.
That's fine.
In case I can't be at a meeting, because I think we always have to have somebody from the Finance Committee at a school committee meeting.
Yeah,
Because it's that important.
I'll either do it with you, and if
Okay.
not, then I'll do Old Colony again.
All right, so
So you decide.
so I'd like to say,
Okay.
let's do this, our schools together. Gail, I was gonna ask if you'd be interested in maybe being the Old Colony liaison?
Sure.
You'd do that?
Yeah.
All right, that'd be great. Bob, you're the golf committee, and you wanna stay on that role? And Gail, did you still have an interest in that? But
I did express an interest in that committee, and I expressed it to you as well, Bob, early on.
If you want to go
And nothing came from it, so.
this is why we're here now, to discuss it. So, I mean, or you can serve a dual role. I mean, maybe there'll be a meeting that Bob can't attend, and if you want to attend in his place,
Right.
that's fine. I mean, we can
Well,
have,
he's on the committee, so, right? Aren't you on the committee at golf?
Yeah, the golf committee is one that, every meeting that they have, you have to show up.
Right, that's fine.
yeah, so you're automatic, so you're, as a liaison, you're already there anyway.
Yeah.
So it's up, I mean, is there going to be an issue if you have somebody else coming in, or?
Makes no difference to me.
Okay.
More the merrier.
Okay,
All right, so Gail, if you want more than one role,
yep,
that's fine.
Thank you.
That's okay.
thank you, Bob.
No problem at all.
Just, we'll go over this after, because I'm gonna write all this down, because Kathy couldn't be here tonight. Now, the other positions that we had in the past, we had somebody for the library, and I'm trying to think,
Assessors too at one time.
did we have a liaison for the assessors?
Yeah, I was it for a
Oh, you were?
Yeah, that's why I know. No, but it was like, Eric, nothing much ever came of it, so they never really needed to.
Yeah, so some of those smaller ones, I mean, we could probably like lump together, like Eric, maybe, I'm just thinking off the top of it, maybe.
I was thinking library.
So maybe you could do library and even maybe council on aging?
I can't.
Oh, you can't, that's, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so library, maybe, how about library?
I was gonna do it with, does it have to have a board, or, because I was thinking Becky, she needs somebody, she said she's never had any representation. Animal control officer for her department. I mean, she doesn't really have, I mean, she does a lot in the town,
Look, I
and she
think-
doesn't have a lot of representation.
I think whatever roles we can take on, I think communicating with all these departments is gonna be really crucial, especially at the beginning of this year.
Yep.
When we don't have like a town administrator, finance director, for them to maybe turn to. You know, and if one of the selectmen isn't available to answer a call, because they all work too,
Mhm.
then maybe we'd be available, or we make ourselves available, and accessible to them in case they have a question. And then we can convey it back to the Board of Selectmen. You know?
I think I gotta figure out how many committees or how many boards we need liaisons to. we have a small group here, so maybe everyone will have to do dual roles, or serve as a primary on one and an alternate on another, or
Well, I was thinking like police, fire, EMS, one person could handle that. Pete, would you be interested?
As long as you want to walk me through it, yeah. I mean, I haven't done it before, so you just have to let me know what the,
if you want it. Like I said, I don't care if DPW, I can stay with it, or whatever.
No, I would say you should stay in the DPW role. I'm trying to think back, did we have a liaison for the police, fire, and EMS?
I don't remember that.
Maybe we didn't. I don't think, yeah, maybe now I'm thinking back.
I don't ever remember
Yeah,
that.
because they don't have a board that meets. What about the EMA agency? No. All right, so we have
How about
library,
Board of Health?
assessors. Board of Health, that's the one I was thinking of, yes.
okay.
I think that was the only other one.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know if it matters at all, but I'd love to be an alternate for Old Colony. My daughter started in it, so.
I think that'd be perfect. So if,
Yeah.
so if Gail can't attend one of their meetings, then I think that's a great idea.
Well, even if I can attend with Gail, at least
Yeah.
have an idea and
Yeah.
how to get my feet wet on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Old Colony's great.
You really
Because
just,
you get everything, you get all the
purpose of the
info.
liaison is to understand the budget
Yes,
Mhm.
exactly.
Got it?
and go to meetings and kind of stay with what's going on, so that's primarily it.
As long as it's not that lunchtime meeting all the time, then
And Oklahoma is very
No, it's just that last
forthcoming
one.
with information.
I wanted to go, but.
You will get everything.
Yeah.
You get a line item, so I did Old Colony for years. You
Yeah.
get line item after line item.
Spreadsheet.
Spreadsheets, you get
Do stuff.
future, capital improvement
Oh,
objectives,
wow.
you get
Oh.
yes, and they're, like, you ask your questions, because you'll be there with all the other member town
Oh,
finance
right.
representatives.
Yep.
So it lasts probably about 3 or 4 meetings. It's usually on a Wednesday. I think back in my day, it started at like 5 or 6 is the only thing, but
Yeah.
you get everything.
Nice.
You get like overwhelmed with all the paperwork that they
Okay.
give you, but very open. But
Very
it's good, so
Yeah,
it's really good.
okay.
I'm just writing down everybody's roles here. So you have library and assessors?
I can do library, I'm not sure about assessors.
Oh, you want to do library and,
Yeah.
Animal control.
Animal
I
control.
don't know if we ever had anybody from animal control.
Yeah, probably not, but.
All right, so I think that covers it.
Can you go over them again?
Yep, so I got school committee, that's our elementary and middle school, that's gonna be myself and Sue.
Yep.
Old Colony, Gail and Pete. DPW is gonna be Eric. Golf, Bob and Gail. Pete's gonna be Board of Health, and Eric will be Library and Animal Control.
Library and what?
Animal Control?
Oh, yeah,
Gail, the next meeting for the health committee will be on the 16th,
okay. Okay, thank
and
you.
it'll be at the town hall
Okay, thank you.
at 4:30.
Are you gonna send that out to the departments as well as to who their liaisons are within the finance committee?
Yes.
Yeah, because actually Heather had mentioned that John was her liaison. She's the COA director, but, so I don't know if anybody's interested in that. I know I can't because she's my wife now, but.
Do they have regular like meetings, the council?
Recently, they haven't because of COVID.
Yeah,
So they've kind of been postponing them.
okay.
They've had a couple this year. I don't know of anything on our plate coming up.
Okay, so I guess we can also address that as we go along, if there's a need.
Yeah.
If there's a department that has a need for,
Yeah,
an extra
alternate or
liaison,
something.
then, they can certainly reach out to us
Mhm.
and give us that indication, and then we can assign it to someone.
We still have people missing too, right?
Yes.
That aren't here today.
Yeah, yes, and, you know, we're not gonna, Mr. St. Jean probably won't be able to be with us for the first couple months of the year. And I still don't know the situation with Jackie Stanley. I've not heard anything.
Been 2 years. Hey, right?
So that would be that's potentially going to be an open seat for someone to come into the finance committee, so we'll have a full complement of people. In case, you know, so we don't run into quorum issues, which come into play sometimes, because we have to have, you know, five people here, and, you know, things happen. We're all busy. We all have our own, you know, careers and things that we do, family lives, and sometimes we can't all be here. And then especially, you know, there could be an illness that precludes you from coming in. So the more members we have, a full complement, the better it is.
How do we handle that situation with Jackie?
I'm going to reach out to, I think, one of the selectmen to get in touch with her to see what her intentions are.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. But we're going to address that.
Do you know when her term expired or expires?
I'm not sure.
Because then that would
That's true.
That would handle it, right?
Right, that would handle it, yes. So, yeah, we could look at that. I could actually call Pam. She'd be able to tell me that. Okay, so the next thing is to discuss when we're going to start, like dates, like when we're going to start our meetings, budget hearing. The first meeting is not going to be a budget hearing. It'll probably it's like I said, it's going to be a meeting where we're talking amongst ourselves like we are tonight, and hopefully the Board of Selectmen will be there with us to give us a little insight or any new developments that may have happened between now and then. So that'll be the purpose of the first meeting, which will be in January. So I don't think meeting probably the first week in January is probably not a good idea. I was thinking January 12th maybe, that Wednesday, the second Wednesday.
It's our scheduled day anyway, isn't it? It's supposed to be second Wednesday.
Well, yeah, we usually do. I know there was talk of maybe starting on the 5th. Did we throw that out there at all?
It's fine with me. I mean,
Me too.
if the first meeting's not really going to be a budget meeting, like you said, it's more going to be a thing with the selectmen. I don't know, maybe the 5th would be better. I mean, if we're going to
It
start.
would be better for me because the
actual
12th I got an
budgets
appointment.
on the 12th.
Earlier the
Well,
better.
things are going to come up during the budget season where, you know, we're going to have some absences probably here and there. But as long as we're going to have a quorum, that's the most important thing. So
When do we normally start budget negotiations? It's around the middle of January, I
It's the
thought.
middle of January.
yeah,
The second or third week.
second or third Wednesday.
Yeah.
We
I say
usually
we
So if we don't go with the 5th, we're really not starting early.
Hey, I'm okay with starting
It's,
on the
I'm good with the
5th.
5th.
I'm good with the 5th. I'd rather get it started.
Okay. All
and
right. So
And
I'll
get it posted now.
make sure the selectmen get it posted.
Yeah.
All right. So 1, 5.
Yeah, I think if we start the 5th, right, that's kind of setting a plan of attack, right? And then that'll give all the departments a little bit more time.
Exactly.
They have it at the town hall right here.
Probably be here if we're going to have the selectmen. Right?
Yeah, I would think.
There's more
I would-
space here anyway.
I would think, yeah, that when we meet with the selectmen, I think it would be here, and then going forward after that, if you guys want to continue to meet like the town hall complex like we normally would do, I'd say let's go back there and have the hearings there.
Mhm.
But yeah, first one, we'll say we police station, you know, with hopefully the board of selectmen. And then the 12th. So the thing we have to discuss is what groups do we want to bring in? And like you said before, start off with the easier ones, which I think makes sense. And then go from there.
Do we do the 5th and then the 19th, so that way you get the departments, whoever has 2 weeks to execute on whatever is decided to be executed on that 5th, or do we start right away at the 12th?
I guess we could start on the 19th. So if we look ahead, let's see how many meetings we're going to have. Let's try and think of what groups we want to bring in first, and think of the budgets that are typically not too problematic.
Might I make it a suggestion? Get the COA and EMA out of the way, and I can skip on the 12th altogether, because I'm out anyways.
We'll probably.
That's what I'm saying, because I can't discuss those anyway.
We'll
so.
probably start on the 19th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because if we're going to meet the 5th with the board of selectmen, I think that makes sense, given it a 2-week gap until we start the actual hearings. So 19th. We've had, I'm trying to think of the easy ones here. Help me out.
Tree warden,
Yeah, those
Yeah,
are
so
all.
we'll look at this here.
We were talking over with Kathy, I mean, she,
Probably animal control,
yeah.
Historic.
Historic Society,
Yeah.
or
I mean, do you
Yeah,
know?
Agricultural.
The other thing I just realized, we don't have a town moderator yet, correct?
No.
Yeah, so we won't, yeah, so that's, because a lot of times we would have the town moderator
Mhm.
come in.
We'll talk that with the selectmen on the 5th.
But yes, because
It's one of their shared duties.
How do you hold the town meeting without the town moderator?
Shared duties.
So if we think about how many weeks we have and kind of back into that. We normally finish like the budgets by the 30th. We normally finish the
30th of
discussion. Yeah, sorry,
March.
March 30th, right?
All
That's
the-
what we're
all
done with the meetings.
Deliberations were done. Yeah, because they usually
They have
need
to get it
the final
submitted.
print by like mid-April. I think.
Right.
Get the warrant out, yeah.
Yeah,
So that's 11 Wednesdays between, starting the 19th, ending on the 30th. One of these is going to be February vacation break. I think it might be the 16th. I think that's the week of
yes.
school vacation. And we normally skip on that one.
In case somebody's we're on vacation or, so, yeah, so if we want to leave that one open, so,
Yeah. I mean, the school is usually, if you fill in the norm, the school is usually the 23rd or, well, we want to have our discussions done by the 30th. So ideally, the school has got to be in by the 16th, the absolute latest. So that we can discuss the 23rd and the 30th, keeping the last 2 weeks open, I guess.
yes.
Right? So, and it's usually the town. Okay. My screen went blank. It's usually the town, right? Or
So we
the
got,
school department that we kind of flip-flop between, right?
yes.
So one's got to be the 9th, and one's got to be the
16.
16th, thank you.
I'm gonna put a check mark next to all the departments that we have that come in. So DPW, Council on Aging, assessors, animal control. I'm thinking maybe the first meeting we could have like the park department come in. So park, which is park and recreation. So that would be the 19th, so park and recreation. And then we're gonna have somebody else come in that night as well, because that's usually an easy one. Maybe like the Board of Health with them. I think that would probably make sense.
So both of those on the 19th.
Planning board,
On the 26th or the same day?
same, 19th.
Yeah, I think that's doable.
All right, so you think 3 is probably gonna be enough for that one?
Because sometimes the planning board can be time consuming, especially when there's a,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
all right, so that'll work. I think that'll work. And then the 26th, maybe we could have Council on Aging. Library. What would be the date in the next meeting after the 22nd?
Second.
February 2nd?
Yeah.
Okay. We'd be skipping the 16th, and then it would be the 23rd.
then March 2nd.
All right, so who do we have left here? We got- Oh, maybe we could have, as one more on the 26th, maybe animal control. I think in the past, we've done, we've had police, fire, and EMS all come in together. Right? I think we're pretty sure we have.
I don't remember that we had the police chief and fire chief. Did we have them at the same
Not
time?
on the same day.
I don't think so.
Not that I can recall. Remember last year was my King's Donuts Day when the
Yeah.
police chief came in and I got a rash of, from doing that.
Do we know?
Oh, yeah. I remember that. I
Unintentional.
remember
It
that.
was totally unintentional.
Do we know contracts? Like, do we have contract negotiations?
That's a question that I haven't had answered yet. I don't know what,
Because that would be
I don't,
key
yeah, I
to
don't know,
know
yes,
understand.
I agree with that. I don't know what unions are currently in contract negotiations. I think police might be one. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that might be one.
That'd be another thing, if we could get that information
Oh, we're gonna-
handed
yeah.
out to us. These are where we stand, these are the contracts when they
Yes.
expire.
That was gonna be a question that I had for Julie if she was gonna be here tonight. Would be which unions are, currently in
Yeah,
negotiations.
get that in printed form so we could have it, be good.
All right, so we're on February 2nd.
Do you have a building department listed for possible? I'm just going through my notes from last year. We met with building department, animal control.
That's right, we did have Bill, that's right. I
Yeah,
was
golf
forgetting- I was
department,
forgetting Bill there.
assessors. I'm trying to see if I have
Building
notes here on them.
But that would be Jim Merritt,
Who we don't have.
who,
He's
yeah,
gonna be gone.
he's gonna be gone, so, I don't know who would fill in his role. I mean, we could maybe put that down, put a question mark. We just don't know if somebody's gonna come, as a representative of the building department. I don't know who would, if he's not there.
I see this is gonna be a very fluid season.
Well, this is, I mean, setting this up, the right way.
There's a lot of gaps in principal members that we,
We have golf. Bob, do you remember if the golf has a preference about either coming in later in the time frame or earlier? Do you think it matters to them? So maybe that third meeting, on the 2nd, we could have the golf department come in.
What's it, 22nd?
February
Oh, February.
2nd.
So it's golf and building, potentially?
We could put building, question mark.
I mean, somebody's gonna have to do it.
Yes, so it might have to be somebody from maybe the Board of Selectmen that has to represent them.
Do we know what they've been historically? Is it a historical level funding? Do we have some idea of? we're not in-
Sometimes there could be changes in it. Off the
I
top of my head,
remember too
nothing
many. I
drastic,
remember it
nothing
has-
drastic,
No.
so it shouldn't be that difficult, but, you never know. So golf, building. Maybe assessors? We could do golf, building, assessors.
let's look at the town clerk.
Yeah, so in the past, we do, we usually have town clerk and then the selectmen, they present their budget. So I think I would put them together. So then one of the selectmen are probably gonna have to be at that meeting to present their budget. In the past, that would be, Alan Catino would do that in the past. He'd come, he'd present the Board of Selectmen's budget, which would, consist of a bunch of different things. So February 9th, Board of Selectmen, and what was the other one I mentioned?
Town clerk.
Town clerk.
Do you think they're gonna be ready for the 9th? Usually they're a little bit later. in the season.
The Board of Selectmen.
Yeah.
Yes, so we wait till the 23rd then for them.
My recollection, I remember
I think you might be right, yeah. I think
There
you
are
might be
times
right.
where we've had to kind of
Yeah,
switch
it's
things
just I
around.
don't know, what's on the horizon, if they got,
Yeah,
if they got financial concerns or things they want to address.
All right, so maybe on February 9th, we do police. You want to try and tackle police and fire / EMS all in one evening?
Bring a box of Joe. Do it.
Do you know if there's, I mean, are they gonna be new officers? I know we usually get them 1 or 2 cruisers.
You're asking me that right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna be the,
Yeah, because I think there's some retiring, right? There's some retiring officers that.
yeah, you know.
Yeah, we'll find all
Figure it
that
out.
out. We'll find all that out.
Yeah.
So what was the last date in March that we were gonna have? like,
16th.
The 16th was gonna be the last hearings date, right?
Yeah, because the
Okay.
23rd and the
2 weeks.
30th was 2 weeks for deliberations, and if need be,
Bring somebody back.
bring somebody back, and if need be,
Yeah.
that still gives us one week in April before we
Where do you have
absolutely have
DPW?
to.
Would you put that?
Oh, yeah, DPW.
Yeah.
Um,
So
So-
DPW on the 2nd then?
No, so on the 2nd, I have golf, building, and assessors.
Oh, sorry, I meant March 2nd, sorry.
All right, so February 9th, let's go back to February 9th.
Yeah.
Yeah, police and fire down.
Yeah, police, fire, EMS, that's.
That's more than enough.
Mm.
Unless,
We wanna go to home that night.
unless,
Mhm.
unless we do police and DPW
We can do that.
instead.
Well, if we're sitting and looking back, you said you want to put school the last day, or the last, so it'd be the
So-
16th?
Yes.
Typically, so it doesn't get.
Yeah,
So
so
what
stopped,
do we do with Old
so they're
Colony?
free.
O'Connell
Do
would
all
usually come
Colony
in.
at the same time?
They wouldn't come in when our
Yeah.
schools come in.
Yeah.
So that means they'd have to be the ninth.
We could do the week
Yeah.
before. on the
Yeah.
ninth.
Typically, Old Colony is pretty quick
Yeah.
because we're so involved in kind of the budgets that
Okay.
there were plenty of years they never even came in because we had all of
We
the
already
info.
knew everything.
We already knew everything. So, but yeah, I almost forgot Old Colony.
That's why I was asking, if we
Yeah.
know that school has to be the 16th, and Old Colony's gonna need time too, that doesn't give us a lot of time now. We've got the 23rd and the 2nd. Unless we want to try and squeeze in February 16th and see who
Well,
makes
I
it.
thought we were putting Old Colony on the 9th of March,
I'm sorry, the 9th. that's what I
Yes.
meant.
right? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, my fault.
Yeah, and we've done other departments on the same night as Old Colony.
Because,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we could have somebody else on that evening as well.
mhm.
So maybe we could do fire and EMS with them.
I think that's doable.
On the 16th.
On the 9th.
Not March 9th.
So then on February 9th, we're gonna do the police and DPW?
Please, town clerk, what happened? Is town clerk still?
We still have to decide when we're gonna do town clerk and.
I
board
thought that was
selectmen.
going in with the Board of Selectmen on the 23rd.
Of February, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you wanna do town clerk and board of selectmen on the 23rd?
I think
Gives
either
them
that or we
time.
move them to the
That'll
2nd
give
if they
them-
need more time.
That would give them more time. Yeah, why don't maybe we should save them for the 2nd.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what other departments do we,
So the only one we're missing, so we have 2 dates here that we don't have anybody on the February 9th and February 23rd.
no, February 9th
we've
is
got
police and DPW.
DPW.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
23rd is the only date we don't have something on.
yeah.
You know, and we're doing this now, but this could actually potentially
Yeah.
change.
Ebb and
because
flow.
Because it's changed before, because, you know, we're saying we're gonna meet with them on those days, but it might be a different story for them. That's the unknown, we don't know that yet. So who do we have left? Do we have anybody left that would be for the 23rd? Or we fill all the slots here already? I think we might have.
Do we have planning for?
Yeah.
Planning, we had January 19th.
Yep, we got planning already. We got.
This
We need
conservation.
the town moderator, but we don't have anybody, so presumably that'll come in Board of Selectmen.
That's like no budget though.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
Mike, you'll be presenting our budget,
Okay.
the Finance Committee budget.
Yes, I'll present the Finance Committee budget.
Conservation?
Conservation Commission. Yes, we usually have them
Mhm.
Yeah, we usually have conservation and historical.
Yeah.
Tree ward.
Tree
That's-
warden. Yeah, so I think that would be a perfect night
23rd.
for all them three to
Yeah.
come in. Yes, all
Yeah.
right, perfect.
What date are you on?
23rd.
February 23rd?
Got it.
Those are usually easy budgets.
Yeah.
Maybe they should be earlier.
We could always use it to move it around
Yeah,
when necessary.
have them as a slot that we can swap people around.
Yeah.
If other budgets aren't ready when we think they're ready.
Yeah.
I think that pretty much covers all of them,
Mhm.
right?
If we find something small we're missing, we've got easier days, they can squeeze them in.
Mhm.
But I think this looks pretty good. This looks similar to what we've done in the past. And-
Kathy will help us out with it too.
Yeah, she can provide some historical perspective,
Yeah.
looking back. But yeah, I just want to make sure we have plenty of ample time. We definitely need those,
Yeah.
we definitely need those 2 weeks of deliberations. So let's say we needed one extra week, and we had to squeeze one extra week in April.
Yeah.
Would there be one more available? I think there would be, right?
Yeah, so then you could get, that would be April 6th.
April 6th would be like an emergency kind of thing, like we need to.
Yeah, that'll give us 3
clean something
extra
up.
weeks to,
Snow day.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Snow
so-
day. So April 6th, we could still have as a meeting.
yep,
No snow dates.
We also have, you've got February 16th as an emergency if we had to,
if
too.
we had to.
I mean, the only
Oh,
thing
yeah.
to stop that is the,
True. Yes.
I know I'm not going anywhere, so.
I'll be around. I'll be around.
Yeah, I'm not leaving the country.
There's another department, the name's escaping me.
I'm looking at all the index
Yep.
from last year's operating budget, and that's kind of what I use as a guide.
I'm gonna throw this out there, like the Perry Hill Church, they go,
That'll-
That'd
That's
be part of
historical.
historical commission.
no, but they go for, CPC.
Oh. CPC,
Conservation,
that's yeah, that's all in there.
Conservation Committee.
Yeah, okay.
that's gonna be part of conservation.
Oh,
Okay, so last year I have notes on, I think we got everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, because last year we were gonna print on April 5th. So maybe we don't have that 6th, Mike. That's the note that I had on here. Tom Secure,
So we can use the 16th as our,
as the backup. We have Council on Aging, Board of Health, Library, Building Department, Animal Control, Golf, Assessors. We've got all these in there. Planning Board, Board of Registrars, Town Clerk, that's all in there. Town Treasurer? Who does Town Treasurer?
Well,
Town treasurer.
we don't have a
We
town
don't have
treasurer
one.
or collector right now, so we're in the process of hoping to get one.
School.
That Board of Selectmen for Wednesday we have is gonna be filled with these
Fire,
vacant
EMS,
ones.
Police, DPW.
Yeah, so on March 2nd, when we meet with the town clerk / board of selectmen, that's when the treasurer would be probably lumped in with them.
Yeah.
Is water sewer lumped in somewhere?
The
that's
DPW.
WW.
Yeah, that'll be,
Trash
and
and all
CMAS, that'll be
Yeah.
all part of DPW.
The snow, right, like all of that's in there.
Snow removal. We're not gonna get any snowstorms this year, so we don't have to worry about that.
I know. So we'll be all set. We're gonna save 100
Yes.
or 200, whatever it is we put in.
I don't think it was too bad last year,
No, I don't think so either.
so we'll see. So I think that covers everything that's on the agenda tonight. The next thing would be any old business that anybody wants to bring up. Anybody have any old business? Any new business?
Next meeting is gonna be the 5th of January. That's our,
We hope.
With the
I mean,
Board of
because the
Selectmen.
intention of that meeting is to actually meet with the Board of Selectmen. Or it will be to meet with them. So if for some reason they can't meet with us, then would we still want to meet as a group independently anyway? Or would you just want to say, like, we'd be ready to go on January 19th to meet with Park Recreation, Board of Health?
So,
I think we probably should meet independently, because Kathy Murray's not here tonight, and I think it'd be important for her to be in on some of this stuff as well.
Yeah.
it's just for even sharing updated information.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
As
So,
things move.
so let's plan on meeting on January 5th, regardless of whether or not the Board of Selectmen are gonna come in.
Well, and if the Board of Selectmen can't meet, we've got the 12th open. We didn't book the 12th.
That's
We
true.
gave 2 weeks.
Or could, we seem to be having a problem getting them to come to ours. What if we go to theirs?
Give them an option.
Huh?
Give them the option, 5th out of 12th.
All right, so yeah, why don't we do, maybe having the option is probably a good idea.
Yeah.
You know, so they have a choice, either the 5th or the 12th. I think let's do that. So, so our first meeting will either potentially be either the 5th or the 12th.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so my job now will basically be to convey all this information to each department head with what we discussed as far as budgetary guidelines at the beginning of tonight's meeting and potential dates for our hearings. So I'm going to include all that with the letter that I'll send to the department heads. And then I'm also going to send a letter to the Board of Selectmen, you know, indicating what we're expecting with our budgetary guidelines, and inviting them to come in on either the 5th or the 12th to meet with us before we start our budget hearings. Sound good?
Yeah,
Maybe the week before that, put a little reminder to make sure their
Post the
agenda's
meeting.
posted.
Post the agenda.
If you send out the notice about the liaisons, I don't care as far as me personally, to be given my cell phone if they need to contact me about anything or something.
Yeah, that's the other thing I got to get from
Cell phone or email.
from Kathy, because I think she was going to do an updated list of all our contact informations. Do we have that?
We used to get it with each member's cell phone and names.
Right.
I'm saying if you want to give it to Dan Menard or whoever.
I think we had talked about it at a meeting recently. I think it was discussed. So yeah, we definitely need to have that. So we can all have a good level of communication, which is going to be really important.
Kathy has that.
Yeah, I would. I don't want to assume she has it. I'll ask her if she does.
Well, she emails everybody. Let everybody know.
But as far as like
She's
a
the
phone number.
published something for everyone.
Yes. That's what I want on paper. I always like having something on paper. So, and I know Mr. St. Jean will appreciate that too, because he likes everything on paper. So we gotta think ahead.
It's old school stuff.
I don't blame him. I like the old school stuff as well. All right, so that covers new business. We've set our next meeting date.
Motion to adjourn?
Is there a second? All in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned.